A good afternoon, and it is now officially afternoon. It is 12:03. This is Conan, the worship director here at Victory Lutheran Church, bring to you the Tuesday Lunch Hour podcast. This is episode, I believe, 7. I think we're on episode 7 right now. And, man, it has been fun. We've had all sorts of guests over the last several weeks. We've had Mike Natal. We've had Pastor Sean coming on every once in a while. We've had, we had Dave Leckie last week from Thrive Productions Group, promoting his Thrive Fest and some other things that are coming up. And it's an exciting time to be around here, these parts in the Midwest. Never thought I'd say that, living in the West Coast, but here we are. It is fun to be out here in the Midwest. Don't sleep on it. Today, I have the honor and the privilege to have two very special guests on our show today. Today, my lovely wife is joining me. She has a day off today thanks to Veterans Day. And then this is also just a shout out to our veterans. Thank you so much for your service and your sacrifice. The fact that we can be here today in this country and worshiping in a church freely without fear of persecution is largely in part to their sacrifice. So I say once again, thank you to our veterans for your service and your sacrifice. I hope you enjoy your day of being celebrated, which we celebrate you. I would celebrate you guys every day. So with that being said, we continue on. We also have with us Pam Schmiedeberg. That's a fun name to say. I always say that too. Kelsey can attest to that. I'm always like, that's such a fun name to say. I remember when I met your son too, I was like, Schmiedeberg. That is just a really fun name to say. Anyway, I'm going to be bringing them on camera here shortly. Here they are. Say hello, ladies.
Hello.
All right. So on your right, that is my wife. I believe it's the right. I don't know if it's mirrored. I hope it's not mirrored. That'd be very awkward. The one with the pumpkin sweatshirt there and the blue jug, that's my wife. The one in the white, that's Pam, not my wife. But we're so glad to have you guys on here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and kind of explain what you do, maybe outside of the church too. I know you guys are both very involved in different things in the community. One's a teacher. I'll let you guess which one.
Do you want to go first?
I'm Pam Schmiedeberg, and I teach elementary Fayette as my full-time job. I also work part-time at the airport as a cross-utilized agent for SkyWest, and I work at the track center, roughing City League Volleyball, and working with some special programming as well as wellness. And here at church, I am co-director of women's ministry.
And I'm Kelsey. I work for Otter Tail Power Company, and I am the other co-director here at the Church of Women's Ministry, and we also co-lead Bible study together on Thursday nights.
Nice. Very nice. So you work for the airport, and now I know I fly quite a bit, so I feel like I see you quite a bit when I go to the airport. What are the chances, if I ask really nicely, that you can get me a free upgrade to first class on any of my flights? You can't do that,
Nope.
can you? Oh, man.
Can't do that for my friends, sorry.
Shucks. So there you have it, folks. You can't get first class if you see Pam at the airport, but you can complain to her when the flight's delayed.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't do that either, because it's not her fault that the plane gets delayed. But no, it's always fun flying out of Jamestown when you see familiar faces, which you pretty much know everybody there. And like the TSA agents, when they're patting you down, they're like, "Hey, so how's youth group going?" And I'm like, I'm not in charge of that anymore, but glad to know that you know me so well. Yes. So one of the questions I've been asking, I know I kind of want to get away from this one because I feel like it's just overplayed, but I'm just curious to hear Pam's response. I know I've already heard my wife share her thoughts on this, but if there was ever a fight between a taco, and we're talking hard shell taco, and a burrito, which one do you think would win and why?
That's an interesting question. A hard shell taco or burrito? Well, I would say the burrito because it's going to crush the taco shell when it wraps it up.
Ooh,
and I feel like that's a common thread I hear is like the burrito it's got the flexibility and it's got the weight. Like tacos are usually pretty light and pretty like what's the word I'm looking for? Delicate? There you go.
Yeah.
Delicate.
Well, and with a burrito, if it's like in its whole form, like you haven't taken a bite of it yet, that thing, they can be pretty weighty.
Yeah, did you ever play that game Throw Burrito or whatever it was? That was.
Can't say I have.
Dude, those things.
It's a fun one.
Those burritos hurt. If you get enough velocity on those things, like that can leave a mark. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a plug if you're ever looking for a fun family game for family night. Throw Burrito. It's a good one. Lets all the aggression out. Yes. So another question I have to ask, and this one I don't really think is like a tell for like any person one way or the other, but your thoughts on Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Which one do you feel like is better?
I cannot give you an honest answer because I don't follow either of those.
Really?
I know. My daughter's big Harry Potter, my oldest.
Wow.
I know. I'm bad.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
honest.
You're honest, and you're one of the few that I feel like that hasn't been on either camp. Usually it's diehard one way or the other. And then you get like the few that are like, we like both. Like me, I like both. But yeah, Kelsey, what are your thoughts?
Well, okay. We keep on saying we're going to do it, but we still haven't yet. I have not watched Lord of the Rings.
I tried with you, and you were like, you were falling asleep.
Yeah, that's
So
also
I think that's
a
my
random
answer.
That's a random fact from me. I can fall asleep rather quickly, especially when we're watching movies.
Yeah.
But I do like Harry Potter. And then we went to Universal one time, and that was really fun to explore all the Harry Potter things.
I think I was more excited than you were, but yeah.
It's okay. I was still excited.
Getting to drink my first butterbeer. Oh. And getting my wand. No. Now we're
taking a turn.
We're taking a turn. We're going down a rabbit trail. Yeah, I think I think that's accurate. It's an accurate description of where you stand with that. I will say I am proud of you. You did give Star Wars a try, and I feel like you like Star Wars, which is good.
I've seen every Star Wars movie.
I love Star Wars.
We've been watching all the shows now too.
I haven't
Yeah,
done
we
that.
just finished Ahsoka, waiting on season 2, which I think comes out on the 26th, or not the 26th. It comes out in the fall of 2026. So, looking forward to that. Getting to see all the lore come out. It's kind of cool. They're bringing in like elements from like the expanded universe. Which I don't know if you followed that, if you got that deep into Star Wars.
Just watched them all.
Yeah, I love all the movies. Even the prequel trilogy, which let's be real, wasn't like the greatest, but I still loved them anyway because it was Star Wars, right? You had pod racing, that was pretty cool. But yeah. It's fun. It's fun. And that can be another podcast in itself, just talking about all like the ways that Star Wars can like bridge into scripture. I've done that with a couple of youth kids. That's been fun. Talking about like you see the gospel element here and like good versus evil, and it's like Jesus, and it's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi is not Jesus, but no, we have fun. So ladies, we're talking women's ministry. You guys are co-chairs of our women's ministry here at Victory Lutheran Church, and on the whole, like our denomination has a pretty involved women's ministry. I think you would probably say the same, Kelsey, right?
Yeah.
Having been at the biennial convention now the last, I think, 2 times we've had it, it always seems like there's a big to-do surrounding women's ministry, and I think it's great. I love seeing churches and denominations especially that are very much supporting and encouraging women's ministry, because I feel like a lot of people would say that a good church or like a thriving church is largely in part due to a thriving women's ministry. And I don't lean one way or the other. I don't think that's like the end all be all. Like if you don't have it, like it's not going to be a good thing. But I think there is something to say about a healthy, thriving women's ministry. And after hearing, my being a husband to the co-director, I'm privy to like some of the insides of like what they're, like what they're doing and the heart behind it. And I think, just from what you've shared with me briefly, even before we got started here on this podcast, it's like, this is what we're about. And I'd love for you guys to kind of just unpack a little bit about the vision. Like what is the vision for the women's ministry here at Victory Lutheran Church, and then how is it being applied today? So I digress. The floor is yours. I will now shut up, and please take the floor.
Yeah, I think our big goal, so looking when Conan and I first moved here and looking at women's ministry, it maybe wasn't happening in the degree that it is now. And so when we first came looking at like, how can we bring women together? How can we bring us together as like a larger group? I mean, there were Bible studies happening, which is great. And so then stepping into this and wanting to bring women together as a large group, and then also have our small groups so that way we can be together, in the Word, in life, and then in mission. And how can that look? Well, it's very different, and depending upon the season of life that we're in. And so, like right now, we're trying to have at least 4 gatherings a year, so 1 a quarter, where we can all be together, sharing a meal together, hearing someone's story or a devotional. What else was I going to say to that?
Well, I can talk, like we started out, I'll just maybe talk about some of the events that we've done and coming up. So we started out this fall with a very informal get-together on a Saturday night, and we just sat around a fire and we had s'mores. So s'more for Jesus, less of me, and it was just
that theme, by the way. That
and
Pam, that was
Pam
awesome.
is representing. She even made cool sweatshirts or crew necks
for a couple of us to wear, and
yeah.
So it was just fun, just have some s'mores and visit, and just in a relaxed way, and
right.
we had young adults, and I mean we had every range there that night, and that was just a nice informal kick off the fall. And then last week we just did our soup for the soul, friendship, how to be a friend like Jesus, and we had 6, 7 different soups.
Yeah, so we have some very good cooks in our church.
We have some fabulous cooks. If you need a soup recipe, we'll try to get some for you, but they were so good.
Yeah.
It smelled good when I poked my head down there. No.
Yeah, and we just had, we shared a story. Kelsey and I each talked a little bit. We had some soup and some bread and desserts, and then we had a craft led by Kristen, and that was a lot of fun. It was a hot mess.
Well, it was kind of cool seeing the finished product there. People were posting on our Facebook post earlier this week, and it's cool. Didn't think much of it when I saw it drying in my office. I'm like, what is this? This is it looks like a paper mache mess. But,
yeah, it was parchment paper.
Oh, is that what it
with
was?
watered down glue, so it was almost like paper mache, and we did it over balloon.
Oh.
And then we had to take them home and let them dry.
Yeah.
But we put, we should have brought ours.
Mine's sitting in Conan's office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you could go on our Facebook page and look at it, because
Yeah.
2 of us posted our finished project. And so when you put the candle in, the leaves and the nature stuff we put inside show, and so that was.
I think one of the things, though, like the common theme I'm picking out here is fellowship.
Yes.
That is a key element to what you guys are about. And, hearing about this more of Jesus, less of me thing, like it's just an informal, like we're just going to get together. It's not going to be, a big to-do, organized thing. One of the things I feel like I've noticed over the years, it's like almost the more organized or like produced an event is, it seems like almost the less people that want to get involved with it, And I think it's interesting to see like more of these I use quotes, grassroots movements where it's like more about like, let's just get together in my backyard and hang out, or let's get together at the church and just have like a little soup potluck thing and make a craft and hear a couple testimonies. You know, like those are, I feel like, from what I've heard from many people over the last year that have been at some of these women's events, that they say like it's been like one of the most special times for them is just being able to fellowship. And a lot of them are bringing their daughters, their you know, their grandmothers. Like I think you guys had like the Mother's Day event last spring, and
It was a tea.
Yeah, last year or around Mother's Day we did a ladies' tea, and we did have one lady who brought her brought her mom, her daughter, and her granddaughter. So it was really neat to see like.
And I think
so
that's
many
so awesome
people
that
bringing families.
You have like you're spanning generations at this point. It's not just about, oh, we need something for the young moms to do. We need something for the older ladies to do. You know, like we could do that, and like there are groups that do that, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I think it's so cool to see these events, that you guys are putting on, that's bridging gaps between generations. You know, for me, like I think back to when I was, just out of high school. I just came to know Jesus, and I was invited by the old guy on my worship team, he was one of the church elders as well, but he also played guitar, and he invited me to this thing called Men's Fraternity. And they met Saturday mornings at like a god awful time. It was like 6:30 in the morning, but they had breakfast and fellowship. And the thing that stuck out to me the most, though, was the fact that it wasn't just like a bunch of old guys getting together. It was older guys. There was a couple guys that were in college that were there, middle-aged dads, working dads that were there. And then they would bring like their little boys, like 10 to 12-year-old boys. Granted, like there was stuff that sometimes they would talk about that was a little bit more mature, so they just would be like, we're not going to bring them for that conversation because they're just not ready for it. But I just thought it was cool. It was like, wow, I can have fellowship with, old Steve here, who's probably like in his 70s, and he's pouring into me in a time in my life where like it's very, could go one way or the other. I'm an 18-year-old. I got the world in front of me, and I could be making all sorts of choices, good or bad. And here's a guy that's lived a full life and can impart some of his knowledge on me, much like what you ladies are being able to do with some of the other ladies that are coming in. And maybe you guys are getting poured into as well. I don't know.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been good. It is fun to see the young girls and, every generation in there. Because, these young kids too need that guidance from us. I need guidance from everybody. We all need guidance. I mean,
right.
It doesn't matter what you do. Everybody needs guidance. And wherever you get it from, the more you get, I think the better it helps you feel too. And to live your life how Jesus wants us to live is huge.
Right. Amen.
Yeah.
So this year, I feel like it's been really cool to see the women's ministry kind of changing and shaping, and like we've gone through different seasons. It sounds to me like though you guys kind of did like a little revamp of like the ministry, like kind of the vision and like the mission. Could you guys unpack that a little bit for us? What is like the vision and the mission for the women's ministry?
I guess to continue with our events and try to get, advertise it or announce it, get it in the announcements, get those things out there. We've got signs throughout the church that go up. Faye's been fabulous in helping us with that. And
Shout out to you, Faye. She's in the next office.
She heard us. She waved. But just, to promote those things and, to spread the word that these things are happening, and it's a fun time. It's fun. It's refreshing, rejuvenating,
Right.
And hopefully come away with something, whether what was said or just in a general conversation. And, so I guess that's our vision, is to grow, to get more people involved. And, in the word. And I guess that's done through the stories or testimonies. The Bible studies. We have almost every day there's a Bible study. and then mission. And so we've talked about bringing in some local mission things to do, or like,
Yeah.
to help with that.
Yeah, and I think that was a key one that I wanted to pick up on, was the mission, because I feel like there's a lot of groups, just in general, that typically get comfortable with this idea of like, oh, we're gonna meet once a month or once a quarter, and we're gonna just do like our a little meal and our hangout time and our craft, and that's all, and that's fine. But like, there's another aspect to ministry that I feel like sometimes gets overlooked, and that's the missional side of it. Here in Jamestown, I feel like there's a lot of different areas where we can get plugged into local ministry or local missions here. Because when you hear that word mission, sometimes you think, oh, like I got to go overseas, which is nothing wrong with that. We just had a group go to Nicaragua last month, and that was awesome. We had a little bit of a time to unpack that with Pastor John here a couple weeks ago, and nothing to say like there's nothing wrong with that, but not everyone has the ability to go overseas. Not everybody has the ability to financially invest in like going on like these mission trips. But I feel like anybody could have an ability to find a way to get involved in their own community here. Case in point is we have the community Christmas dinner. That's one where like I see everybody come out of the woodwork. You see people from, I would say kids, but I'm not saying like little kids, but like even little kids will help out too. But kids all the way up to like very elderly, like they're sitting in a walker and they're still finding a way to get plugged in and serve. Concordia has a Thanksgiving Day meal, and they're always looking for people to help serve that meal, and it takes a lot of people. I mean, that's a sacrifice, because you're giving up, a part of your day, part of your holiday that you would normally spend with family cooking your own turkey. Now you're cooking a bunch of turkeys to hand out to people that would otherwise maybe go without a meal. Needless to say, there's lots of places to get plugged in, and I think it's great to hear that you guys have that vision too. I know our youth kids here have started to get that renewed vision too. Teaching them that mission isn't just about going overseas. It's about starting in your own backyard. And would love to hear what that might look like for you guys. And this could be an opportunity for you right now to just dream about that, because maybe we haven't had a chance to talk about it. But like, what are some? Let's just spitball. What are some things that you guys could see the women ministry partnering with? Not even just here in Jamestown, but like regionally, or even nationally, or internationally. We can go big.
I don't know if we've gone that far yet.
Yeah.
But
we have been talking about, especially with just all the things happening now, like, and with holidays coming up, looking at, could we do a food drive? How can we support our local like food pantry, and to be able to support the families who are in town, or maybe even in our church, who might need some help, especially around the holidays.
Right.
And so that's something that we've been starting to talk about, and what could that look like, wanting to get something started there. I guess
it's probably the only one we've really talked about so far.
Like for like, what can we do now? The women's ministry as a whole, with the Church of the Lutheran Brethren, they do each year choose like a focus project and a way to support our missionaries. And so that's something that we've looked at. How can we be of support to what the women's ministry as a whole is doing? But I feel like we're still in the planning stages of what does this look like.
We're kind of new to this team
That's
thing.
totally okay. I mean, like, part of like bringing you guys on here is like, I know like a lot of this, we're probably it's going to be more of like a dream phase. Like, we're kind of just like, where do we see this? Where do we want to see it go? So I want to give you guys permission to just be out there. Just like, if you have an inclination where it's like, I would love to see maybe even a food pantry start up here in Victory, or like you said, like finding the food pantry. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I've lived here for 6 years. I don't even really know where like our local food bank is. But like figuring that out and like going and being like, how can we serve you guys, especially in a time like now where like there's so many people that have been on like the SNAP benefits that are, they don't know if they're going to get like their full or partial benefits by the end of the month. And, it sounds like to me like there might be a light at the end of the tunnel there, but there's still like the what if,
Mm-hmm.
And regardless if, benefits are restored and all that stuff, like we should still support our food pantries and our food banks. And, being, where I grew up, I know we utilized a lot of those kind of benefits, and if we didn't have people, generous people that were donating and serving and volunteering at these places, I probably wouldn't have had food on the table many nights. So I think this is a cause that is very much near and dear to my heart, and I think it'd be cool to see more of that, and I like it. I think it's great. Oh, I mean, I've even thought about like even with our worship team, like, man, what if we did like something like once a quarter? Like we just took a Saturday and just went and volunteered like at the food bank or at Orphan Grain Train or something like that. I'm not super familiar with what a lot of these places do, but like I know like, there's places that we could go and serve. And I think that would be.
I know last year I volunteered for the first time with the Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
And Sarah Hagerly and I went and delivered to people's houses.
Right.
And it was so fun. I think we're going to do it. I haven't talked to her, but I'm sure we'll team up again this year and do it again. But
we're gonna have signups for that. So
it was they were waiting. They knew we were coming, so they were waiting, and they were so thankful, to get that tray of food. And
you want to know the sad part about that? Like, it's I love being able to do all these things, but the one thing I'm always left with after the community Christmas dinner is when I come in on Monday morning and I check my voicemails, how many people that probably didn't get a meal. And they call and leave a voicemail like, hey, we need a meal. And it's like the day of, and we're busy doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, gosh, I wish there was a way to reach those people too. And this is my reminder. Like, shameless reminder, shameless plug here for the Christmas dinner. But if you need a meal delivered, call us before the day of, because we're running around trying to get everything we can done, and we want to get a meal to you. But just give us a call. Even if you're not sure how many people are going to be there, you can guess. I'll bring you 5 plates of food. I don't care, because we always have a bit of leftover anyway. Which we always the food banks come by and they store it up and they package it just right so then they can freeze it and distribute it how they see fit. And so none of the food goes to waste, thankfully. That's always been a concern when we've done like stuff like this back in Washington. It was like, how much of this stuff is actually going to go to waste? And thankfully, thanks to like technology and different things and different ways we can preserve food, there's literally like virtually none, no waste whatsoever. But no, I think it's great. Getting out and doing the deliveries, even serving the meals. Like, I love that we went back to in person. Like, that 1 year of COVID was just so hard. We had so many people that was like, for them, like, this is like the one opportunity they might have to be able to sit down and have a meal with somebody else, regardless if it's somebody they know or not.
Yep.
And for me, that was like a very humbling experience coming here in 2019, and we experienced our first Christmas dinner. And like sitting down and just seeing so many people in the community that we don't normally see. Like, these are people that don't even come to our church. They're just coming to eat a meal. And just see so many people just loving on these people where they're at, giving them a warm meal, sitting down with them, listening to them tell their stories. And it's like, man, this is an opportunity for all of us to just kind of be the hands and feet of Jesus, so to speak. No, I think that's great. I love that is built into your guys' kind of mission statement here. No pun intended. What are some other things, though, ladies, that you guys are thinking for the future for women's ministry?
Well, we do have a December event planned already and coming up. It's the Cookie Christmas Exchange.
Oh, didn't you guys do that last year?
We did do it last
and
year.
a mug exchange this year is being added to it. So you bring your 2 dozen cookies and you go home with 2 dozen cookies and bring a mug, either whatever you want, festive, normal, a fun decorated one, homemade.
Yeah, Pam is very crafty, and she's shown some of the cool mugs that she's made.
So we
I
might
hope
have
I
a
could
craft
get
day
one of
before
those.
our December.
That'll be
Yeah.
fun.
But yeah, so that one, and then we'll have a message that day as well. We were just talking about that today,
Yeah.
what we might do. So we're not for sure what that message will be yet, but we've got something going. We don't have any events planned yet beyond that, other than there will be some of us going in April to I Point over by Fergus Falls to the women's retreat.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Those ones are always really well done.
They are
if
very
you
well
haven't
done.
been to an I Point retreat, you guys gotta do yourself a solid and just bite the bullet. Go.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Like
No.
it's really not bad.
No,
Like you're thinking to yourself like, oh, it's all the way in Vining, which is like 45 minutes north of Fergus. It costs this much money. It's like, just go.
Yeah.
It's
And-
so fun.
And if money is an issue too, like they do sponsorships, or if you
Yes.
register by a certain time, you can get $25 off. There are so many ways that you can go.
I've always
And-
been told too, like, I mean, we know those guys really well, and they're always like, if money is ever an issue, like just
Reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They do sponsorships.
Yeah.
So I think that you're
don't
able
let
to,
money be a reason why
Right.
you don't go and experience something like this, because
Yeah.
it is something else. Like Kelsey always comes home raving about the food.
the food was fabulous.
Well, you guys
It's all about the
Speakers,
food.
yeah.
Wasn't there, like,
There's a
chicken
common theme with
cordon bleu
women's
or something
ministry.
one
It's
year?
the food.
Yeah.
It was like chicken cordon bleu one year or something, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And whoever was cooking did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
But like, you're also going to get some of the best speakers. You're going to get
Yes.
the fellowship. You're going to get use and access to the entire camp and their facilities. Which, guys, it's an amazing summer camp for kids, but it's also a fun retreat for adults too. So
We enjoyed our
And-
weekend.
We did. And we went
We went last
spring,
April, yeah.
Last spring we went, and there were 6 of us that went. I think it was five of us.
5 of us from
And
our
so
church.
we all met at the church, and then we rode down together.
Well,
So
there
we-
was 3, and then 2 met. 3 of us rode together, and then
2 met,
the other
yeah.
2 were there.
and the fun
Yes.
part, like the even better, I think the best part of those trips are the car rides there.
Right.
and
Yes.
back.
Yeah, that was so
Well,
fun.
you get to know, like the other gal that went with, like I knew who she was because she's my neighbor, but
Right.
Yeah.
you don't have those conversations like you do on a car ride or back in our room at night after we've had
Yeah.
all the stuff from the day. And, it's a nice way to get to know other women too,
Yeah.
like in a different sense of, their normal
Yeah.
conversations or
Which
whatever.
is great.
Yeah. So one other thing that I picked up on earlier was, everyone's kind of got a gifting, and, getting people plugged in and serving in different areas. Kind of knowing like you guys are running the ship, but like
Sure.
putting on these events isn't always just a 2-person job. It's not just a 1-person
No,
job,
no,
but like
No.
it takes a village, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's several ladies that are involved in this ministry that are very gifted in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got one that's an incredible baker, and I've utilized her services for many a fundraiser.
Well, we had some good desserts
We did
too.
have some very good
yeah.
desserts.
Yes.
Yeah, and like you got people that are just like they have an eye for detail when it comes to decorating. Hey, Faye.
And Sarah Hickerly.
Oh yeah.
She's very good at that
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like just saying, like there's all these different people that like they have like a gift, and it's cool that you guys are giving them opportunities to use the gifts that God has given them to help further the kingdom. And I guess one of the questions that I have is how do you continue to foster that kind of environment? Because I mean it's easy to kind of get in that mindset sometimes where like, oh, I don't want to burden somebody with this, or I don't want to ask this person to do it because they're already doing so much. But like, it's at the same time, like you guys both work full-time jobs. Plus, I mean, let's be real, you're a teacher. Sometimes your job goes beyond 9 to 5. Same thing being a manager of a place in town. I don't know if you said where you worked, but okay, you did. But yeah, like I understand, and I think anybody would understand. Like there is quite a bit more on you guys' plate than like a typical volunteer, being the leaders. But how do you guys handle the pressures of like putting on these events while also like inviting people to be part of the process? And I guess how does it all work out? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Well, our last one, we just kind of reached out to people like, hey, we're having this event. Anybody want to bring soup? Well, I brought one, and then we had 5. How many do you have? 5 or 6 others?
5 or 6, yeah.
I can't remember. I can't count anymore. And then, I don't know, just they were more than willing. I don't know. We just sent out a couple messages, and, there were some people we had contacts for that are willing to help at different events. So we just reached out to them, and people just, they find the time, I guess, to help us out. And,
I think it comes back to this old saying of like, why deny a person the opportunity to give by not asking them? Or at least putting out like, hey, we have this need. Would anyone be able to help us with this need?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think
we had plenty.
We did have plenty, yeah. So many people were like, oh, you want soup? I'll bring you soup. And I'm like, that's great. I love it.
We did not say no. That's why we ended up with 7.
Yes.
Or 6, whatever.
And it was fun because we all got to sample different soups. So it was great.
I love soup.
It was so fun. I thought I was like, oh, I should have got smaller bowls so everyone could like have a plate full of bowls. But it was okay. It turned out really good. Yeah. But I think too, asking people if they want. Like,
because we have people say no, they're busy.
Yeah,
right. And
you can say no.
Fair.
It's
fair.
We know people are busy. We had one lady, I'll bake some bars, but I can't be there. Is that okay? Perfect. Well, yeah. So she dropped off a pan of bars, and we know not everybody can make it, and schedules are busy.
Yeah.
And just because it's a no for the one event doesn't mean it's going to be a no for the next.
Yeah, if you say no one event, we'll get you the next event. No.
But I think just asking too.
Yeah,
like someone's
we're
like,
still
oh it's not going to work for me, but next time, like, I want to be involved. Or then people talking about the events afterwards, like, oh yeah, I want to get involved in that. And like even in our Bible studies, being able to build those relationships with people, to get to know who they are, what they like, what they're gifted at, to be able to like bring them in as well.
That's good. And if you're just joining us, guys, this is Conan hosting the Tuesday Lunch Hour podcast. With me today, we have Pam Schmiedeberg and Kelsey Hirsch, my lovely wife, co-directors of our women's ministry here, just kind of talking about the ins and the outs of women's ministry. And man, what a conversation it's been. If you weren't here for the earlier part, go ahead and feel free to catch the video later when it's uploaded. But we've been talking a lot about kind of like the fun stuff, the vision stuff. What are some of the hard stuff that you guys are running into? What would you say has been something that's been challenging, and how have you either addressed it or worked through it? Loaded question.
Loaded question.
Yeah.
I think just as we're getting to like know each other more and like serving together, I don't want to say it's like, communication, and just, I don't want to say it's like a struggle. It's not a struggle. No. I think it's just like learning you and you learning me.
Would you say clear expectations?
Yeah,
like
I feel like that'd be
how to
good.
set clear expectations so then nobody's left kind of wondering, like what is it that I'm supposed to do? And I say that because I feel like I run into that all the time, in my job. There's just things about being. Oh, did I forget to plug my laptop in? Probably.
Uh-oh.
I'll figure that out. But anyway, it's important to set clear expectations and to talk and to do all those things. And yeah, I think that's important. So how do you guys work into that?
Yeah.
You guys talk, I'll figure this out.
Okay. Well, we did get together and we kind of, talked through like what does women's ministry look like and kind of what are the goals or expectations that we would have. So I think right now it being like Pam and I and talking through like what does this look like as we're bringing more people in, what do we hope for, and clearly communicating what our vision and goals are with events and kind of where they might be serving.
I'd say that's probably good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're back. Apologies. My computer decided to not charge for some reason, but it's back now.
Thank
Gotta
you
love
for
technology.
our brief intermission. And we're back.
We're just not
Maybe.
going to have my camera on, I guess. So we're going to just
Okay.
continue.
Okay.
Proceed.
Communication.
Communication.
That was delayed. It's okay.
Sorry, guys.
Yes.
No.
Talking about, I think really just laying out what our vision, mission.
Yes, that was probably the big thing we did first. When so just to give a little background, Kelsey's been in this position for
A few years.
a few years. I was just brought on July, June.
Yeah, something like that.
This summer sometime. So so we did sit down, kind of, we met to kind of see where we wanted to go, what we wanted to do, and it's hard to have the face-to-face meetings. Thankfully, we see each other every Thursday during Bible study, so we can talk a little bit before or after that, because we do have busy work schedules and life in general, but I think we're finding ways to communicate with each other when we're not face-to-face. Quick text message or
Yeah, like, this is my idea. What do you think?
yeah. So it's been good. It's been fun coming in and helping her with that and working together to grow.
Yeah. Well, and when you think about, I feel like maybe this is one of the, I guess you could say, struggles. When you're looking at like women's ministry as a whole, you're like, here's women's ministry. And you're like, well, what actually is that?
What exactly
And
did I say
so,
yes to?
Like looking at, we have so many Bible studies. I mean,
Which is amazing.
Which is so great. There's a
There's
Monday.
literally one every day of the week.
Monday,
Tuesday
nights,
Tuesday night with Lady,
Lady
Cave,
Cave,
Wednesday with the
early birds at 6:30 in the morning. That's not
Right.
that early.
I used to go to that one when we first moved here, and it was so great.
It is.
Well,
It's
that was
fabulous.
Also when we lived like 2 blocks away from Face.
That was very true. I could just like pop in my car and be there in like a minute, and it was the best.
Yeah.
I could roll out of bed.
And then Thursday
I
nights.
miss living up in that
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Thursday nights, and there might be other things scattered throughout there that we're forgetting.
Yeah.
But looking at Bible studies that are happening, like that's a time where you get to spend with your small group diving into the words,
Yep.
studying something. Like right now we're studying Proverbs on Thursday night group. Or Wednesday morning you guys are still studying
Exodus. Yep. So yeah.
So being able to dive into the word together and to pray for one another and to just build those close relationships, I feel like is really important. And then looking at our the women's gatherings, so looking at bringing all the women together and like the young girls too. And so obviously there's overlaps. We're serving in that area too. How can we bring other people from different Bible studies together to help put on these events? And then also looking at how can we support like our moms to be and helping to celebrate like the new lives that are being brought to the world.
Yeah. I know we've talked about wanting to start a group for expecting parents or people that are like waiting and they're people that are actively trying and then maybe they're just not able to conceive and they're just it's the waiting game. Having like a group for those people, I think are I know I would benefit from it because we're in that boat. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's awesome to hear all that stuff going on that you guys are actively a part of. Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts? We're getting close to the end here. You
We are
guys did a
getting
great
close.
job. Minus my technical difficulty.
We apologize for that.
Brief intermission.
I don't know. I just say the important thing is to get involved with your church. You know, there's probably people out here watching this now after the fact too that maybe aren't involved in a church. You know, doesn't matter what church it is. It doesn't matter where. Just find somebody or some place to get involved in, and you know, to grow that relationship, dive deeper into the Word. And to help yourself as a person grow and, you know, might feed into other people.
Yeah, I was going to bring up my last question here, and I kind of purposely was saving this for the end. But, like, if you were to speak to anyone, you know, like, let's say there's a lady that's attending a church, and they don't really have an active women's ministry. What would you tell, or what would you say to somebody that would like to get something started, but just doesn't maybe they just don't know what the first step would be? What would you say to them? How would you encourage them?
I guess maybe start small. You know, start small. Find a few people that have the same interest. You know, just start asking that want to start a group, or you know.
So it's not even like, hey, let's start a women's ministry, but like maybe it's more of like, hey, let's just start a small group.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's start
Let's
a
do a
Bible
life
study.
group or
Yeah.
a Bible study, whatever you
whatever
want to call
it
it. There's
is.
so many different names for these things nowadays.
I think the big thing is to like not do it alone. Like you don't need to carry it all by yourself. And even if you find like one person, well, like one person can turn into 3 people. Like you know,
They might
just
have
to
a
keep
friend
growing.
that, you know, they'll talk
Right.
to somebody and you know, you'll be able to start small that way. And then hopefully within that small group, then they can start building upon that and getting that larger, you know, those bigger activities going, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to try to get more people involved.
Yeah. And I think the common theme is just try and do something. You know, when it's hard getting that momentum to roll, you know, when you first push that big rock, it's hard to get it to roll. But once it starts to roll, it rolls. And I feel like that's what we've seen here, and what I've seen in other churches, and even in our denomination. Just everything kind of starts small, but then it grows.
When people start to get excited about it, like, you
Yeah.
know, looking back at our ladies' tea, people are like, oh, I'm so bummed I missed it. Like, they see pictures and they hear from what other ladies have said, and they're like, oh, yeah, like, I want to be a part of that. And then, you know, like, the next year, like, watching it grow and more people come. And I think just as you get going and working with other people, bringing people in, it helps to build the momentum, too.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you guys for being on the show with me today. We're gonna wrap it up here. This was Kelsey and Pam Schmiedeberg. Kelsey Hirsch and Pam Schmiedeberg. They're not related. Kelsey is my wife. I love her. She is my muse. Just kidding. No, really, I love you. And they are our co-women's director here at Victory. And here's this to say: if you're listening to this, and maybe you don't go to our church, and maybe you find yourself in a similar, maybe just a desire to see a women's ministry start up. If you want to chat with any of these ladies, I know they would probably love to have a chat with you. Feel free. You can message me here on our Facebook page. You can call the church. I would love to get you in touch with both Kelsey and Pam. They would love to probably just talk with you, maybe even pray with you. Probably will pray with you. Let's be real, but. Getting a ministry started it seems like a daunting task, but it can be done, and we've just seen the fruits of just being faithful to the call that God has placed on our lives to go and to do as the Lord commands, and here we are seeing the fruits of it. So thank you once again, Pam and Kelsey, for being on the show with me today. And like I said, if you have any questions, give us a call here at the church, area code 701-251-1570, or you can message us here on the Facebook page. You can probably, I don't know if you can message on YouTube, maybe you can, but just or leave a comment. How about that? Just leave a comment, and we'll be in touch with you. But would love to connect with you. And if you're enjoying our show, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we would love to connect with you on all of our social platforms. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, VLC Jamestown, and then you can also find us on our website at findvictory.org. So with that being said, we love you guys, and we pray that you have a great rest of your day. We look forward to seeing you next week on the Tuesday Lunch Hour podcast. And I think next week we're going to have Pastor Sean back with us. And we're probably going to get into some debriefing on our messages and our sermons, because they've been pretty fire the last couple of weeks.
Been pretty good.
Yeah, Spirit's
They're
definitely
powerful.
The Spirit was moving. Let's just say that. And if you're in the Jamestown area and you're looking for a church home and you don't have a place to call home, why don't you come check out Victory? We have services 8:15, 9:30, and 11 o'clock, and we would love to see you on Sunday mornings. But with that being said, we will go ahead and end today's broadcast, and thank you for watching. This was the Tuesday Lunch Hour podcast with Conan, Kelsey, and Pam. Thank you for being on the show with us today, and we will see you next week. God bless you guys.